This is Megabonk during active development. This footage you're seeing is from just 2 months into development, posted onto the game creator's secret YouTube channel. But the craziest part of this game isn't the unbelievably fast development cycle, but the story behind who made this game. This game was created by one of the biggest game development YouTuber of all time. One who has documented his entire game development career from the very beginning. This isn't a story of an unexpected indie developer spending multiple years self-teaching themselves how to build a game like Schedule 1. This is a story about how a viral hit-creating YouTuber capitalized on a new, very addictive genre of games and managed to sell over 1 million copies in just 2 weeks, netting just shy of $20 million. I'm Pounder McNasty, and I dive into the development stories behind video games. If you enjoyed the content this channel has to offer, I'd appreciate it if you took a moment to hit subscribe. Today, we dive into the insane development of Megabonk. To start off, we have to talk about and understand the person behind the game, Danny Dev. Now, technically, it hasn't been officially confirmed that it was Danny behind the game, but there's an absolute mountain of evidence that it was actually him. I mean, Vedinad spelled backwards is just Danny Dev. I'd highly recommend you check out this video going over the evidence of Danny Dev being the creator. It also explains why Megabonk was pulled from the Game Awards Best Debut Indie category, as Danny Dev had already released multiple games throughout his YouTube career. 7 years ago, Danny Dev started his YouTube channel. At this point, all he wanted to do was document his journey of learning game development at his local university with a simple Unity project about physics-based stick figure gladiator fights. Danny was simply creating fun YouTube videos, showing off what he's learned at school, and began creating a community of people who were interested in how games were made. He would post daily vlog-style videos which showed progression on his game. Unbeknownst to Danny at the time, however, is that he had just started on one of the most life-changing side projects of his life. By learning how to create YouTube videos alongside showing the development of his game, he rapidly began expanding his community. Within 6 months, Danny went from 200 subscribers to over 200,000. The videos that catapulted him into this unheard of growth were videos about how he created games within record time, like these ones where he made a game within 12 hours and one within 2 weeks. Every single video he uploaded not only substantially grew his channel, but also he was using his growth to test out new game ideas. But he wouldn't have to use this channel to test game ideas for long, because of one extremely consequential video that he had uploaded just a year into the creation of his channel. In this video, Danny created a game about Mr. Beast and his Team Trees initiative. While on the surface level, the game may not have looked really impressive, it was one of the biggest catapults for Danny in terms of what type of games he created. This game was made just 1 week after Mr. Beast announced the initiative, and now Danny had begun learning the importance of capitalizing on popular topics. Now, Danny could make games in record time, albeit a bit simplistic. But also, he had just figured out the recipe for capitalizing on viral pieces of media. What he chose to tackle next would be the biggest boost in his YouTube career, a pivot to 3D games. Danny began working on his first 3D game, following similar game design to the smash hit Superhot. He followed his existing formula to a T, used the content as a vessel for learning how to make games, while also making content on how he built his games. After this point, he would slowly follow his newfound skills of capitalizing on hot topics with his best performing upload to date, making Among Us in 3D. Danny now understood, without any shadow of a doubt, how to make a simple 3D game, how to make them fast, and how to make videos that would net millions of views and go viral. It was time for him to put all of these skills to the ultimate test by combining what he's learned from his YouTube career into what he's learned with game development. In 2021, Danny would release Muck for free. With his YouTube channel being used to promote the game, let's just say that the game did pretty good.
Nobody's gonna play it anyway. 3.5 million downloads.
It's time for Muck.
What's a muck?
You can even start to see the bones of Megabonk here too. Just a short couple of months later, he would release Crab Game, which did equally as well. But what's really interesting is that the same day that he released Crab Game, he also uploaded this video, which would be one of his best performing videos yet. Danny had just mastered how to build a game, release videos on it, and guarantee success. Up until this point, all of the games he released were completely free to play. But now, it was time to actually start making some money from the games outside of YouTube revenue. Danny would take a 2-year hiatus from YouTube, but during this time, he never stopped learning how to make 3D games. In the summer of 2024, Danny stumbled upon a game called Vampire Survivors, which is a 2D gothic horror-themed roguelite where you control an automatically attacking character battling waves of enemies. Your goal in the game is to just simply survive as long as possible, gathering experience to level up and acquire new weapons and upgrades for increasing carnage. Danny absolutely fell in love with this game when he played it. But more importantly, he saw a big opportunity. What if he was able to create a version of this game in 3D? After all, he spent the better part of his entire career in game development thus far, learning how to make 3D games from 2D ideas. He quickly began prototyping what something like this would look like, by prototyping a very quick test map with an enemy model that would follow you around. Within the first month of development, Danny also created a map, new pieces of obstacles, and added in another character. Month 2 would be spent working on even more enemy types and characters. After this, he realized having a static map that never changes would be a bit boring to repeatedly play. So he followed Vampire Survivors' playbook and made the map be randomly generated upon every playthrough. He followed through with more gameplay features that Vampire Survivors had, like leveling system and upgrades, but also, this game isn't a one-to-one copy of Vampire Survivors. It also has things like power-up totems and the ability to make the bosses more challenging throughout the gameplay. And to highlight the speed at which Danny was able to put this game together, at this point in development, this is what a AAA studio would have been able to do in the same time frame. Within the first 6 months, not only did Danny already have a playable demo available on Steam, but he would create a new channel to upload videos on how the game was progressing. This was effectively his marketing strategy for Megabonk, to make content that he knew would have an audience, considering the fact that he's already been a very successful YouTuber for a while. It was a brilliant strategy. He uploaded one long-form video and many different shorts, all of which garnered hundreds of thousands of views. His strategy, however, seemed to not be working. Looking at the Steam charts of the demo of Megabonk, the all-time high concurrent user count didn't even manage to hit 1,000 players, despite the viewer numbers on the new YouTube channel. The remaining couple of months would be spent on creating more short-form videos on the game in an effort to hype it up, as well as bug fixing. But hype didn't really build up the way that Danny thought it would. In fact, the demo more or less flatlined after the initial reveal. But regardless, the game had to come out. On September 18th, the full game was now available for all. And it didn't do much better than the demo on launch. The game only had 3,000 concurrent users. But this wouldn't be the end of the story for Megabonk, because as we know, the game spiked to over 100,000 concurrent users in less than a month. So what caused the massive success we saw post-release? Well, just like Schedule 1, it all came down to streamers. Streamers like XQC, Moist Critical, and Shroud got their hands on the game, and its gameplay was easy to watch for viewers and addicting to play for the streamers. So just like that, the game took off like a rocket. Danny went from learning how games are made to capturing virality, and then to merge the two topics together. And while 100,000 concurrent users may not sound impressive in comparison to other titles, it absolutely was a massive success for a single developer who managed to build out the entire game in just under 1 year. So much so that it even managed to snag a Best Debut Indie Title slot in the Game Awards. Of course, Danny, being the class act that he is, pulled the game out of the category since it wasn't technically his debut game. But what do you think of Megabonk? Do you still play it? And if so, how would you like to see the game evolve going forward? And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.